Hello and welcome to Community Chats. I'm your host, Aley Hammer, and today we're joined with Anna Green, our APJ, Head of ISV and Digital Natives, to discuss the role of technology in the changing workplace. Anna, it's so great to have you back on Community Chats. I personally cannot believe that it's been almost a year since we had you last on the show. And you've been responsible for building out our Asia Pacific and Japan business. So can you start by telling our audience a little bit about what it's like to work in the business over the last year?
I mean, it's so fantastic working in an organization like AWS because we really have a global footprint and a global reach for our customers. And part of what I've done in starting to build the APJ or the Asia Pacific and Japan ISV and D&B business is to really think differently about the type of customers who are here in the region and what they need from us. And AWS has recognized that ISVs, independent software vendors, and digital native businesses are customers that really have a very different requirement from us. And therefore, it was very important for us to start building programs of support across Asia, Pacific, and Japan to make sure that we were supporting them the right way. So my journey here at AWS has been very much an exciting one because it's been about learning about the software that is being built across this very dynamic region, which is really driving growth across the whole world from a macroeconomic perspective, and then thinking about how we can use our AWS resources, services, and programs to help those customers to build and grow their solutions. And what I've learned for sure working at AWS is that we are incredibly customer obsessed, and that is the reason why we have spent time investing, building out an Asia Pacific and Japan regional context for these software building customers.
It's so true. I mean, I remember when you first joined, it was about a year ago, we were talking about customer obsession. And, when you're new, you don't really realize how much the company lives and breathes it. I think every company says they're customer obsessed, but wow, now you know what I'm talking about. It definitely rings true. Anna, over the last 12 months, our world has shifted quite dramatically, and working from home has actually become the new normal. So how are you and your teams coping with the change? And do you have any advice for other businesses or managers out there?
Yeah, look, Ali, work from home has changed the ball game, I think, forever. I think what we see as the industry evolves and really as the macroeconomic environment evolves over the world is that work from home is absolutely going to be the new normal for all of us. And what I've learned leading teams through that is the most important thing as a manager of a team or even working in a team is to be empathetic to the other people in the team. I mean, what we're dealing with now is a situation where we are dealing with customers and teams in a virtual environment. And that's a very different engagement to sitting next to someone face to face. So first of all, there's that challenge, which is that you're having a lack of personal connectivity. And so as a leader, I think it's really important for you to be leading by ensuring that our teams are connecting. One of the things we've been able to do here at AWS in the last year is to build a Women's Connect forum where we have small group informal connections between women across Asia, Pacific, and Japan, which have allowed us to have conversations about life and work in an informal context. And we've had so much positive feedback from people in the teams about that because there's a real desire for people to connect, not just on a one-on-one kind of business meeting, which is the other thing that's happened. We've all started blocking our days with meetings and not making time to connect in a personal context with our team. So I think the first and most important thing is really just to be able to accommodate and be empathetic to the change in the workplace. And then secondly, of course, making sure that the team feel connected through more than just kind of our connections in a video context, but also in the real time and the real world. And we've all experienced what is a very new working environment. So, those of us who are parents have children coming in halfway through meetings now. That would never have happened before. Those of us who are working from home, thinking differently about looking after cats and dogs. I think I've seen more pets in the last 12 months than I have in my life. And it's a different engagement. So just being empathetic and realizing that all of us are different. It's a completely new model of working, and making sure that your teams feel connected in whichever way works for your teams. But as I said, kind of keeping the lines of communication open and consistent has been really important for me.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I mean, I'm a working mom of a little toddler, and, gone are the days where if your toddler ran in, you'd be highly embarrassed, you'd apologize. That's just not the case anymore. I was on the call with my boss actually last week, and he had his little 3-year-old bopping up and down on his lap. So it's really nice to see that empathy showing, shining through. So, Anna, moving on from this a little bit, what are the broad trends that you've seen with customers working from home? And in addition, how is AWS helping those customers adapt to this very new work lifestyle?
Yeah, it's a completely changed consumer profile and consumer consumption model that we're seeing, which is changing the way that our customers are building solutions for their customers. So as you can imagine, we're all working from home now. We've started to become comfortable with that. So what we're seeing is different consumption models where you might previously have gone out to buy something. People are now feeling far more comfortable purchasing things online, which of course drives a completely new environment from an e-commerce perspective, and even from a supply chain and logistics perspective. So it means that customers who are thinking that way are really being able to innovate. And of course, the customers that are thinking about that way, thinking about business that way, are innovating quickly. So we're seeing a lot of change in the way that customers are thinking about their business models. We're also seeing a change in the way that supply chain and logistics are responding to that, which means that industries that are adopting to those solutions more, should I say, proactively, are the ones where we're seeing more success in terms of growth. So I think the opportunity has changed. I think the industries have changed, and those customers that we see responding quickly to their own customers' requirements, which is in a work from home context, are doing much better and seeing much better growth because they're able to innovate quickly. And of course, AWS's digital platforms and our service proposition is really around helping our customers to use digital technology to innovate and be able to build and grow businesses at scale on the cloud. So it's a very exciting time for a lot of our customers because they are thinking of new solutions for their own customers and being successful in doing so.
Yeah, it's incredible to watch so many of these startups and digital natives and ISVs just pivot and be so agile. And it's so incredible to, obviously there've been a lot of horrible things around COVID that are quite obvious. But on the flip side, we've had these companies that are just doing such incredible things, none of probably which would have happened without COVID. So as customers have shifted and adapted, it's really great that AWS has been able to help with this new way of working. But what I want to know is, what's the flow-on effect of all this change? Have you seen a difference in the way our ISV customers are helping their clients?
Absolutely, we have. And those that are doing it more quickly are those that are seeing success early. And I think, there are 3 stages that we reviewed with our customers when they first started responding to the work from home environments. The first being that organisations really have to react very quickly, basically just to get the workers to remain productive and to be able to do so in a safe and secure manner. So we had customers like Innovaka out of India designing a COVID-19 command centre for healthcare providers and for hospitals and community organisations. And what they were able to do is create a dashboard which allowed them to forecast and create early warning systems, which then spurred a telehealth module for physicians. So thinking differently about how we're helping customers with workplace solutions to help their customer or their own workplace to stay online and doing it in a safe way. And obviously AWS is very much security is number one for us. So it's our number one priority. So this is something that we've really worked closely with our customers to do. The second stage that we've seen is that if our customers want their employees to go back to the workplace, how are they going to do it and when? And so we see customers who are creating solutions around, for instance, training, digital training, like MindTickle, fantastic customer who are growing and building an amazing service proposition around training people with cloud certification skills. Those type of industries where they're thinking differently about helping employees, customers, people to learn in a digital context, we're seeing huge growth and opportunity for customers like that. So thinking differently around using our technology to help people return to work And then finally, we see customers looking to the future and trying to reimagine the way in which people are going to be using all of the different industries and the different services that they need. A good example of that is WorkApps in India, who tried to solve for the solution of wanting to go into a bank and having to get an ID check. Everyone has to do it. Nobody wants to. COVID then created a situation where people needed to do that online, and of course they needed to continue to do it. And WorkApps were able to create a solution which resulted in 1 million people now being using their application and being able to do that heavy lifting around having to do an ID check online. So really just amazing transformational technologies and totally different businesses being built out of the back of work from home, driving different outcomes for everyone.
It's incredible. Thank you so much for sharing these, Anna. There's some really interesting use cases there. And, MindTickle, for one, is a company that we use all the time at Amazon. We're constantly refreshing our skills and training. So I'm very much familiar about that customer. Anna, the last 12 months have definitely given us quite a lot to think about. Are you observing any broad community initiatives amongst your ISV customers that you could share with us?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that one, Aley, because honestly speaking, being at AWS for the last 18 months, that's been the best part of this job. It has been seeing the way that our customers are using digital technology really to help to transform the communities in which we're operating and doing it in a way that's helpful. So Soul Machines in New Zealand is a great example of that. They've created a lifelike digital assistant, which they've used to help the World Health Organization to fight COVID-19. Like, they've been able to create a solution that saves time for medical professionals by people being able to go online and ask questions of the digital assistant around COVID and its symptoms. So really great and helpful uses of technology across all of our segments to help the communities in which we are working, not only to cope with what has been a very challenging world situation, but also to build and grow connections within the community, which for me as a leader is probably the most satisfying part of working here at AWS.
Well, I couldn't agree more. As the community lead here, I'm loving that, we're seeing all these amazing benefits to our community, and these initiatives are blowing my mind. The best part about my job is also that I get to, chat with all these amazing customers and hear about what they're doing, and so many incredible benefits to our community. Anna, I'm going to have to wrap this one up. I could talk to you all day, but thank you so much for joining me on the show. I promise we're not going to leave it this long again. I don't know how a year has passed. We're going to get you back on the show, but thank you for all those amazing insights, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much, Aley. You're doing a great job, and we're all loving your community chats.
Thanks, Anna. Bye.